Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please. Of the closing door, please.
It's alive!
Transfer is available.
The next and last stop is...
You're tuning in to the SubwayCreatures. You're tuning in to the
Another week, another episode. Kimmy, can you believe it? This is our 50th episode.
Holy shit, is it?
Does it feel like time has flown, or does it feel like this should be our 100th episode?
It should feel like it's like our 1,000th, I thought.
Right? Doesn't it
I feel like
that
we've
way?
been here forever.
It feels that way for me too.
I've never not been in this chair.
Yeah. Well, is that where you sit in your other podcast?
Oh yeah. That's what it is.
Rick McGuire, Kim Congdon, Petey D, and our special guest, comedian, producer, podcast host, Mike Finoia. Thank you so much for joining us,
Thanks
sir.
for having me, guys.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited for this episode. We were talking a little bit before the show, and you are the producer for the show Inside Jokes, which is kind of a branch off of Impractical Jokers.
Yeah, it is. It's the pop-up video of Impractical Jokers.
Dude, that is... Impractical Jokers is not only I think it's correct me if I'm wrong, the highest rated show for Tru TV.
Yes.
But that show is killing it. It's been on the air for years now.
Season 9 coming up soon.
Crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Season 9. It's nuts.
Yeah.
I was a producer on the show, the Jokers, season 5 and 6, and then they needed somebody to take over this, and it worked perfect. So I just went over and I watch old episodes, and every 20, 30 seconds I come up with facts about the episode, and it's awesome.
And you can work remotely doing this?
Well, I do. I'm in the office when I need to be. You know, I can't focus on anything ever. So I'm better off in a bubble, getting my work done.
Like in an office or at home?
Anywhere that
You're better off.
I'm better off alone.
Okay.
Because I have to get stuff done. I'm too distracted. When I'm there, I just can't stop. I can't help myself but bother everybody.
Oh, I know. It's so hard.
I know.
A lot of people don't.
It really is.
A lot of people don't know that Kimmy, you write for the show.
Yeah.
So you guys indirectly work together, or you don't?
We're coworkers.
We are.
There you go. So
We're cube mates.
Are you distracted as well?
I am. Everybody that works there is really fun. There's just also a lot of props in the office.
Well, yeah. And when you started and I was there, this guy there. So the fifth Joker, I would say, is this guy, Will Thaxton. And Will is the art director of the show. So anything that is come up that the guys want made, Will has to figure out a way to make it. And this dude is so cool and so creative.
He is
and
really
he just
cool.
like for instance, tire babies was a thing that was on the show. It was an actual spare tire with baby arms and legs and a baby head. And for the longest time, it was just in the office. So you're walking to lunch and there's a stack of tire babies. It's kind of hard to not it's our own Wonka's chocolate factory, It's
Right.
a little weird and trippy.
You guys running out of space? I mean, we got a
yeah, there's
picture
the
right
tire
now.
baby right there.
Got a
Yeah.
tire
So
baby
every
right
day
there.
I would be what up, tire baby? And it's just amazing.
So
I'll come out of the room and people are just throwing plastic dicks at the ceiling. And I'm like, okay.
for the people who don't actually know, I'm a big fan of the show.
Mm-hmm.
For the people who don't actually know the actual show, Impractical Jokers, and then we'll definitely just kind of get into the inside joke part of it. But
Sure.
Just sum up what that show actually is for the people who might be like, what the fuck are they talking about right now?
4 best friends who compete to embarrass each other. I think is the actual tag. It's four guys in their early 40s that have been best friends since high school, and they compete. 3 of them are off camera. 1 is in the playing field. Could be a coffee shop, could be the park, the mall, whatever.
Yeah.
And they have to do and say what they're told, and if they refuse, they lose the
There's
challenge.
consequences.
And then at the end of the episode, whoever has the most losses has to go through a punishment. And as comedy producers, I guess really what we do is kind of let's say they're going to work at, we'll just say Starbucks, whatever. What we'll do is brainstorm games that they can play. And would it be fun if they were a custodian, a customer, an employee, whatever, a cop walking in, and then we pitch the games to them. And if they like it, they take the ball and run with it and come up with the creative content. And then we help also with coming up with punishments, which that was always my favorite.
That's
It's
an
my
awesome
favorite,
job.
too.
Yeah, punishments.
Definitely.
Really is kind of a dream job. Now I know Kim, has actually appeared on the show. Have you appeared on the show as an extra?
I have. Yeah,
You have?
I was a cop on 2 episodes, I believe, and also in a couple of like mall challenges. I was kind of like sitting in the back eating.
That's
I was just shoveling sour cream and onion potato chips in my mouth.
They include the crew a lot.
It's
in the show. It's very
it's an amazing. It's not to sound cheesy, but it's straight up family.
I feel like I've
it's
worked in a
just-
few productions. It's the dopest people.
Yeah.
They're just everyone's so cool.
Now, let me ask you this, and I guess I can actually ask you too, Kimmy. How hard is it since this show has? How long has this show been on the air?
It's going to be
It
season
feels-
9.
Season 9. So it
coming
feels
soon.
like forever. How hard is it to now come up with new material? Because I feel like, it's all been done, but at the same time, I feel like you guys keep coming up with new shit. How hard is that though?
You want to go first?
You can go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I can speak from like watching the old episodes that I've noticed that their confidence level and the way that they play, just like how a basketball player is better, they may have a killer rookie season. They're tenured, they're a leader, they're veterans by season 7, 8, 9. So they can go after something that maybe we pitched them in an entirely different way that they did in season 1 or 2 or 3. So they are the ones that really kind of think of this stuff off the top of their head and like make things, so like on the spot and creative. We're kind of just there to like bump it so they can spike it, but coming up with things that, one thing that's really hard is they are purists when it comes to like, if you know the show, let's say Petey, like they run into you in Washington Square Park and you play along, right? But you all along knew that it was the Impractical Jokers.
Right.
Once the cameras stop, PA will run up to you and be like, hey, dude, like that weird guy that just came up to you, like you're on the TV show Impractical Jokers, like can you sign this release?
Right.
That gives us the permission to use their image on the show. If you go, yeah, I knew all along it was the guys, we don't use that content. Like that, that's
great.
sucks sometimes, right? Because it's like such amazing. You've been to set and like watched. It's like some of the takes when someone, it's some of the greatest turns we can never use.
But why does that matter if the viewer doesn't know that?
Because the guys know it, and it's about the purity of keeping this thing. I think once they say, we'll let this one slide.
It doesn't
stop.
It doesn't feel.
I can actually really appreciate that because there's a lot of times, and we've talked about it on this show before, where people stage things in the subway to try and get on the page. And 99% of the time, I refuse it. Only time I let it go through is if it genuinely is not only creative, but you're actually getting good reactions from people around you. Because I don't want people to start thinking that the page is... people are staging stuff to get on the page.
Yeah.
So I try to keep it raw, which it sounds like that's exactly what they're doing. And I actually really appreciate that. I never knew that.
There have been times when we would like, let's say like we're doing a focus group or something and like we're behind the scene. Two-way mirror was one that like I remember being back there and someone was kind of like smirking a little bit. And we all kind of were in the control room and we're like, God, I hope that they don't know. Like, this is too good of a turn. If you know, please don't tell us. And it turned out that they didn't. So we were like, thank God. But there have been times where great turns happen and we can't use it just because the guys are. I like that about them, though. I mean, over the past 4 or 5, I've gotten to become very close with all of my tour with them. I open up for them on the road. And I spent a lot of time with them. And the interaction they have with the fans, both like through the show and during the live show, it's amazing. It's really incredible to see people see them and like lose their shit. It's wild.
And they're like very, very, like the show is like, they're not just like talent that shows up. They're so involved with the show. Like they show up and everything is like, they look at everything and they're like, this is going to work. This isn't going to work.
And I think that that's kind of showing and proving by them being number one on a network, on Tru TV. But I guess kind of going off of those questions, how hard is it now to, they're so well known.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, I feel like when I watch the show, when I watch the show, I'm like, how the fuck don't these people know that this is them? They are so popular now.
I think that people say that and they just don't realize how many people there are in the world.
That's what this show taught me, is how enormous the world is.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit about anything.
Yeah.
Some people just Like,
some people don't watch TV.
But that show is
and we're in New
always
York.
it's always on.
I feel like it's the only show on Tru TV, man.
People that have never seen
That
it that I run
shit's
into
always on,
will go
dude.
like
Crazy.
They
That's
go,
how many
How can
seasons?
I watch it? And I'm like,
Turn your TV.
buy a television and plug it in. Like,
Yeah.
It's gonna be on.
It really is
Unless
true.
if it's inside jokes or
What else is
Impractical
there?
Jokers. It's like all that's on all the time. On
Yeah,
Tru
I mean,
TV.
I thought maybe getting out of the tri-state area would have been the answer, but then it's like it doesn't matter.
Well, we
You're-
did
That shit's
episodes in
huge.
Miami. We did episodes in Hawaii, LA recently, I think. And there's been a bunch of travel, like, go the UK. There was like a special but the show is bigger in England than it is here.
That's crazy. I
And
didn't,
it's
know, I
bigger-
didn't know that.
And it's bigger in India, I believe, than it is.
That is so weird.
in all
Yo,
of the.
Americans being dumb is like the funniest shit. Because they take it dead
Yeah,
serious.
they
Like,
really
yo,
do.
look how dumb they are.
Because if they do it there, then
Yeah,
it's
is there
big trouble.
is there anything that you guys have come up with or written for them where they're like, oh hell no, we're not fucking doing that?
yeah.
Yeah,
A bunch of times.
Oh, that happens a lot.
I
Yeah.
could imagine. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Is it more though because they
I-
don't think it's creative enough, or is it more because they're like that's going too far?
A lot of it's different reasons.
I had the legal department tell me no.
Yeah.
On one, but we ended up turning it into another thing. It was actually, so it was a punishment for Murr, and basically what it was he's dressed like Dracula. It was in season 6, and what I wanted to do was build like a haunted house where he's hanging like a bat, right? And we send in a group of kids. He scares them. They run. The second group of kids, he scares them. And then the third time we open the door, he thinks that there's a group of kids coming in. I wanted to release like 3,000 bats into the room and then just shut the door and let him stay there overnight, like with the bats.
That's crazy.
And the legal department was like, he'll get rabies and I was like, fuck that. And he's like, and they're like, and where are we gonna get like a couple thousand bats? Just like, who has those laying around? And I spent a week researching like toothless bats.
I
with
mean,
no
this is a
rabies
job.
and- this was a job. Yeah, I stayed up at night, and they were just like, no way. So what we did was we changed it to, he was in a theater thinking he was going to be doing like the Vampire Chronicles or whatever, and instead he was dressed full Dracula. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, we got the skit.
And instead, they brought in a choir to sing.
This
like,
was a recent
gospel.
episode, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, it was.
I remember
season
seeing
6.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, and then this like Harlem choir joined him, and he had to sing with them as Dracula, which was pretty fun.
That's very funny.
I mean, you guys you really do have kind of a dream job in a way to just have to, this is what you have to do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
pretty
I'm
great.
a little jealous.
It's very fun.
But let's talk about Inside Jokes, which is what you're currently doing.
Okay.
That is, I guess the best comparison is pop-up video, like you said.
Yeah.
But you're giving like, what exactly is it that we're going to see in these pop-ups?
Well, I go to the crew. I go to the comedy producers. I go to the locations guys. I go to the jokers, and I ask them questions while I'm watching the episode. So what I'll do is I'll watch an old episode all the way through. I'll kind of jot notes down, take timestamps, and say like, here they're in this park, or here Sal's wearing this T-shirt, and I try to plug as much stuff. So like if Sal's wearing like a Legion of Skanks T-shirt, I'll be like, Sal's wearing a T-shirt of a famous comedy
Sure,
podcast
we gotta get these
starring
guys a
blah, blah,
Subway
blah.
Creatures shirt.
Whatever. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
totally.
fuck.
And he'll wear it. And I try to throw in like Easter eggs to like, Grateful Dead and Fish fans and shit that I like, But then I go back and I ask questions to the people that I think can answer them. So it's like, was it hard to get this location? Like this Mark that has his face blurred, like why did we have to blur his face? And then like they remember shit from being on set,
Oh, okay. Like people that are working.
people
there.
that were there, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
sometimes I'll go through and I'll be like, let's say there were lines that like the jokers chose for Q to say and he didn't get a chance to say them. I'll be like, some of the lines Q didn't get a chance to say were bing bang boom,
See, and people love those like behind the
man.
scenes like
Yeah.
fun
absolutely.
facts. Like I think you even called it before, the Snapple cap kind of.
Well, I try to do
facts.
like a 70-30, like I was saying. Like I try to do like 70% of it being like show facts, things that maybe happened back, if there was like a big storm that night, or if, Sal was almost late because of a fire in Manhattan, whatever, things that happened that day. And then the other 30% are like, if they're using headphones, I'm like, oh, the headphone was invented in 18 whatever. Like just because every now and then it's like, I'm watching 10 minutes of them just standing there.
Right.
And it gets boring as hell. So I have to throw other stuff in just to fill.
Yeah, I mean,
but that shit's fun too.
I was gonna say, as great as Impractical Jokers is, I feel like this type of stuff is equally, if not more interesting, because you're getting all of these fun facts behind the scenes that you normally wouldn't get. And you also did you work on pop-up video, or is it
No, I just used to rip bong hits and watch it in college. I mean, really, it was fun to watch. Do you remember that?
That
Did
show
you watch
needs
it?
to come back.
I love that show.
That show was amazing.
Yeah, but
And-
it's a neat thing for, like, there's so many fans that have, like, reached out and they're like, this is really cool shit that you share on the show. Like,
And-
when I'm live
yeah.
doing shows with them, they really like it.
Now, what do you mean when you say you're doing shows with them and they go on tour? What exactly is happening when they're going on tour?
They have a comedy tour.
They have a comedy tour.
So are they
Four
doing
of them-
stand-up, or are they doing jokes?
No,
like
so they're
these
called the
pranks?
Tenderloin. Prior to doing Impractical Jokes, they were the Tenderloins. It was like an improv troupe, and they did like there's a million videos on, not a million, a bunch on YouTube. Like if you check the Tenderloins, they have like old videos. You know, when everyone was started making videos, and they kept that going, and they go on tour. And now we're doing like basketball arenas. We're doing, I mean, state fairs. I did Nassau Coliseum with them. I did
Jeez.
Bridgestone Arena with them. I mean, it's crazy the rooms that I'm getting to do.
It was at WrestleMania.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's crazy. It's they're larger than.
But
like,
they like walked out like, because there's a lot of stars at WrestleMania. There's a lot of stars, but like, not everybody gets to walk out of the fucking like the main shit, like the
It's
big
insane, dude.
Like they came out, it was like,
But this is even more reason. This is even more reason
Yeah, I
why
know,
I was
right?
saying.
And he's
like,
having such a good time with
and
it.
he's so chill. Like he's like, you wouldn't even think a gazillion people are fucking like, no, you would be like, oh, it's just my dude.
Yeah.
That's even
No, I
more
know.
reason why I was saying, like, how do people not? You know, they're so big.
Right.
How would people not recognize them? But I guess.
Well, yeah, and all of them
they're making
do.
it work.
All of them kind of do their own thing off the show too. So like, Murr wrote a book, a horror book, and he like goes on tour and does like book readings and book tours and all that. Q has a podcast, Tell Him Steve Dave, which is like a comic book podcast with Brian Johnson from Comic Book Men.
Okay.
And then Sal does stand up, and Joe does like animal rescue, like activism and anti-bullying stuff. So they all have their own.
How the fuck do these guys have time to do anything?
Oh, dude, I don't know.
Because you're how often are you guys shooting? If it seems like you guys are always shooting.
I feel like once or twice a week.
Oh, that's it.
Well, a lot of times now, because of people, like if they find a location that like people don't know them, it's like let's get 2 bits in, right?
Yeah.
Like basically, it's like let's
yeah,
try
but
to.
they'll
like,
do multiples in a day.
Yeah, a lot of it's doubled up because I mean it's just you got to get it done, and the post production is nuts. I mean those people are amazing that they're able to like go through all of the footage. It's hard, man. It's really tough because you got to blur out certain shit. You got to this guy doesn't want their, you know.
Well, not only that, but I've also come to realize just working in production myself, where we live in a time where the turnaround has to be quick because you don't know, maybe someone else was filming with a camera on their phone, filming the skit, and now that goes out on the social media. And now, you know, I know, you know, from Eric Andre, what he's been doing with his show, and he kind of does a hardcore version of Impractical Jokers. I mean,
his show's insane. I love it.
He goes to the next level. But, you know, he was recently shooting. I wouldn't want to ruin his show, but he was recently doing stuff in New York, and based on the accounts that I run, I'm getting this stuff flooding in.
Yep.
And people are all recording what he's doing. And it potentially, if I would have released that, you know, I talked to him, so I'm like, don't worry, dude, I'm not gonna release this stuff. But if we didn't have that relationship, I would have posted that, and his half of the stuff that was going to go on his show now is going out into this viral world.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess you guys potentially could run into something like that.
So, like, it's kind of an all hands on deck thing, too. Like, if we're at a location. I remember one time I was at the Palisades Mall in Nyack, and we were shooting it was like Operation Panty Drop or something, where we had, like, underwear with parachutes, and they were trying to drop it from, like, the second level to the third into people's shopping bags, like, as they walked by. But regardless of the challenge, like, we were there. One kid saw it and was like, tweeted out, like, the Jokers are at Palisades Mall. And all of a sudden it was like Beatlemania. Like, everybody was there to see them. And it got to the point where, like, I'm a comedy producer for the show. I'm trying to help like come up with creative content. Now I'm a bouncer.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there like asking a grown man to stop taping on his phone, and he's like in my face, and I'm like, I'll fucking drop you, dude. Like, cut the shit. Like, you're gonna ruin this. Like, if you like the show, like, be it, cut it out. You know? Like,
right.
Why are you
destroy you?
That's it. So you don't fuck with me. But I hated it. But it's like, what are you gonna do?
Right.
Come on,
And again,
man.
that's the type of
Little
thing that you
kids,
could run
whatever.
into now.
But that's the problem, and I don't know how. I mean,
So he's
there's
saying-
probably more security.
He's saying if you're a grown dude out there, don't be a groupie, man.
don't be a groupie,
Put your
dude.
fucking camera
Put
away.
it down.
man.
That's for kids.
Yeah, leave
yeah,
it for the
put
babies.
put
man.
the camera away, and
Nobody wants
also
to sign your fucking Tommy John underwear.
put it away, and also don't tell the crew that you know that they're the Jokers if you want your
If you want your shit on there.
skit
Yeah.
to live or see the light of
But
day.
they're great dudes, and the crew is insane. They're
Yeah.
so everyone's awesome.
Yeah.
It really is just. It's different than any other thing that's ever happened, I think.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. We can't emphasize enough how much technology's come and how times have changed. Where back in the days of punked, you can get away with this stuff, and now, like you were just saying, with how quick social media can just kind of change over, and now you have people there within minutes because someone tweeted something. That is wild.
It's wild how they handle it too. Like, we were doing a show in Nashville, and during the day, Q and I went to Memphis, wherever the hell Graceland is. We went to Elvis's house, Q and I, and we were hanging out, and this kid saw us, and he like starts bawling his eyes out, and he's like, I missed the show last night. Our flight got canceled. It's my birthday. I can't get tickets, this and that. And Q's like, it was the kid and his mother. And he was like, yeah, no problem. He's like, I'll put you on the list. No big deal. And the kid was like, you got to be kidding. It was like the kid ran into John Lennon or whatever,
Right.
And he was so like, you're being so nice to me? You know what I mean? And it was really cool. And it was just nice to see how he handles it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
Where they're all, Murr and Joe will go out and, outside the venue sometimes and hang out. It's hard now. Every show, they get bigger and bigger and bigger.
They also really love their fans. Like, they'll do shows they don't have to do.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll do stuff where you're like, but they like just love meeting the fans. They really do.
And that's what's good to see about people like that. It's like you don't always get that. So
No.
it's good to see that they're like that.
Well, and I'm like a nut for, like, I've seen the band Fish like well over 200 times in my life. And
I'm trying to see him, yo.
Huh? What?
I want to see him.
Come with me.
That means go, man. Because a lot of people.
You go?
Let me roll with you. That's what
You
trying
think
to
I'm
say.
like, at the beginning I call Fish, I'm like, Petey? No.
Yeah.
Petey doesn't look like a fish fan.
No,
I
you
think-
come. They're gonna
no,
come to the garden for New Year's Eve. You
I'm
come.
trying to get the experience.
Dude,
of,
that's the big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's their big one.
people.
Yeah.
You a Fish fan. There's a lot of Fish haters out there.
Fuck them. Good. I'm glad.
That's why I'm saying all of the people that I know, I feel like are Fish haters, and I'm like, I want to know what Fish is about because I know people like you,
Yeah, man.
like the Fish fans. I like the Fish.
I just saw them 10 times in the past 3 weeks.
Wow.
And my point to this, though, is there are Fish fans for the joke. Like, there's deadheads of Impractical Jokers where, like, I'll do live shows where we'll go, like, 8, 9, 10 shows in a row. And I'm on stage, whatever, 4,000 or 5,000 people in the theater. And the same 5 women are sitting right in the front row for every single show. Now, you add that up.
They trying to get that D.
10 nights.
Impractical D.
Like
I was gonna say we gotta give them a name. Like there's got to be some kind of name for the groupies.
Oh, the Impractical Joker heads? Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, we gotta give them some kind of name. I don't know. Kim, you're good with this.
But they're
stuff,
like hardcore dedicated, and I mean, like, that adds up. I mean, spending 5 nights
I'm
at a
sure.
casino is not cheap.
Well, not only
and
that-
getting the same tickets. I mean, you can't get those when they go on sale. That's got to be aftermarket
But
shit.
yo,
you know?
9 seasons. That's the other thing, yo. Not a lot of shows. 9 seasons.
Yeah,
9
That's
seasons.
crazy.
Good. They're going to be starting the 9th season
Yeah.
in like the fall, I think, or
That
something.
8
Filming.
seasons
So
is
season 8's coming out.
And also to go off of what you were saying, the fact that they're doing this, like you're seeing the same person multiple hours a day, just doing everything together. They have to be friends. They have to be friends from like high school, or else I don't know that would work.
Well,
These people, these guys probably at each other's throats sometimes.
Well, it's like Joe cracks everybody up. Like, Joe Gatto is like probably the funniest person in the world. You can't not laugh at that dude. He walks into a room and he's the boss. He's like, they all call the shots in their own way. They're like 4 Peyton Mannings. You know what I mean? Like, they're all
Yeah.
calling audibles. They all know each other's strengths and weaknesses and how to get each other and shit. But like, when it comes down to like business, like they mean business.
What's his name? Joe what?
Joe Gatto. He's one of the guys on the show.
Okay.
But he cracks everyone up. Like, you ask Sal who the funniest guy. You ask like
They'll all
It's
say the same.
amazing to like be on the road sometimes. Like 4 or 5 of us will be like out at dinner, and Joe will just turn it on, and we're all in stitches, and it's just like everyone's most hilarious uncle. You know what I mean? Like just such a ball breaker, and it's just it's pretty wild. I could see how it's easy to be, but what an amazing. I don't know 4 people that I would want to work with, or 3 people I would want to work with more than like one day.
I barely want to work with myself.
Yeah,
That's great.
but yeah, it's fun.
You mentioned fish.
Yeah.
And you do have a podcast, Amigos.
Yeah, Amigos. It's on the Osiris Network. I don't just talk about fish, but I interview comedians and musicians about the music that they love and the comedy that they love. So I've had like Artie Lang on, which was a blast.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, crazy stories he told.
I can only imagine the stories that guy could share on a podcast. You probably have content for days.
It's fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah,
It
was this
wild.
recently too?
It's kind of funny. I interviewed him in December, and he goes, "I'm 40 days clean and sober." On the podcast, I woke up the next morning. Artie Lang tested positive for cocaine and morphine and whatever, and I was like, "You fucking lied to me." But
Man,
yeah,
that guy's
he was
fighting demons.
He told a story on my podcast about
like
trying to kill himself, and how like Bruce Springsteen called him at home the next day and was like, "Don't, like if you need to talk, you can call me, whatever." The boss.
Imagine that. Yo, imagine you just get, it's Bruce. It's Bruce.
Why you gotta go stab yourself? That's pretty wild, dude. And his whole thing was like, "Why the fuck are you calling me?" Artie said to Springsteen, like, "What are you doing right now? Like you're calling me?"
Yeah, what was part of the story behind that? Were they friends? Or
He
was
met him
just...
because of Stern. I don't know. Somehow
Okay.
he knew. You'll have to listen to Amigos to find out.
Yeah, there you go. I like
Yeah,
that plug.
nice
There you
tune
go.
Tune in.
But yeah, I just like
Somehow
talking.
he knew, and then you just stop. Like, what did he know?
Yeah. I just like talking to comics about the music that they like. That shit fascinates me. Everybody, if you don't like music, then I don't
That's
like
crazy.
you. I don't
Yeah.
think. You know what I mean?
Rightfully so. You're probably a serial killer because I don't.
Who the fuck doesn't
Yo,
like
dude, I
like
went
music?
to the Chappelle's Juke Joint shit in April for like 420.
Yeah.
That dude's a fucking head. Like he
Yeah.
had, like he's a fucking fan. Like
Dude, I have a
music?
whole I have like a whole category of rap called Chappelle rap, and it's everything that he had on his show.
Well,
When
you remember he
Chappelle's
used to do
show
the
was
block
on.
party, and
Yeah.
his show. I don't want to say it was revolved around music, but he made that a big part of his show.
He threw a
Is
concert.
that on Spotify?
Chappelle rap?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it should be.
Yeah, I need that shared now.
Yeah. I'll make that tonight if
Yeah, you can
it's
make
not
playlists
made
on there,
yet.
right, and shit?
I have a bunch.
Yeah.
I make one every week.
Oh, well, I
Where
gotta
do you
check
put
that
'em on?
out.
On Spotify.
I need
okay.
people to send me music. I won't find it myself. I need people to like give it to me.
I make weekly picks every Sunday. I put 10 songs out
What?
on Spotify. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I don't do anything scheduled.
I just love
Except for
music.
smoking.
I pick 10 songs that got me through the week, and that's what I play.
I like that
wild.
though. That's that's
Dude, all this Chappelle rap is fucking incredible. Common, Most Def,
Dude,
Talib
yo,
Kweli.
he had De La Soul.
De La-
there, all 3 of them
I know.
performed. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, all his shit's amazing.
Yeah.
His rap that would be an incredible playlist. Actually, I should fucking work on that.
You should put that
Yeah.
together ASAP.
But no, like comics and music, it's like a huge.
Yeah.
So like, yeah,
We're all listening to some shit.
hell yeah.
I remember having Nick DiPaolo on, and he was like, "The fuck am I going to talk about? I like Meatloaf." And then he gets into telling stories about like bar backing in like Boston in the early 70s for like Aerosmith and like
See,
whatever.
that's
Just-
what
and
happens,
it's like,
man.
dude,
This stuff
that's-
just kind of like spawns all these other conversations,
Yeah, man.
and that's what really I think that's what Stern's really good at, getting that shit out of people that you never would have thought they would start talking about.
Yeah.
And I think obviously that's what makes him Howard Stern, but
he's the best.
I remember I worked with Nick DiPaolo when we were doing World's Dumbest, and again, never would have pictured him going on to talk about music, just like you said. But it's awesome to hear that you were able to get that content out of him and those stories. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
I definitely got to
Everybody's
check it
music
out.
stories.
Amigos podcast.
Amigos. Yep.
Definitely got to check
At
that out.
Amigos Pod on social media and all that shit.
There you go. All right, guys. We had a blackout over the weekend. Were any of you guys affected by that?
Nope.
Nope.
Brooklyn.
Because that was, there was a big one back in, what was it, 2006, 2007?
That shit was fire.
This one was only a
Yeah.
partial one, but when you have 8 million people in the city, this shit is going to fuck people up.
Did it kill anyone?
No one died, but there were people trapped in trains,
Any
elevators,
Any
anything.
pregnancies?
J-Lo,
You know what?
J-Lo's,
That's a good one. I don't know.
J-Lo's concert at the Garden. J-Lo was on
Did you see the
stage.
video to that?
Yeah.
No,
She's
I
in the
didn't.
middle of performing, and the lights just go out, and
Fire.
everyone's just like, "What?"
Yeah.
Can we
If that
see
was
that?
fish, Petey, everybody's fucking head would have exploded. You know, like the mushrooms work.
Man, yo, I gotta. That's why I'm trying to go to the
You'll
fish.
come. I'll bring you to your first show.
Because every fish, it's like imagine, like even like Chicago. I've been there a couple times, but like before I went there, everybody that I met from there was like pretty cool, and I was like, Chicago's a cool place because fucking the people that I meet are cool. So it's like the same thing with fish fans.
I feel like you'd have so much fucking fun at a fish concert. I'm just like, I feel like your
went to my
personality.
first Broadway play last week.
What'd
What
you
was
go
it?
to?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
I want to go so bad.
Fucking crazy, Jeff. Yo, dude,
I wanna go
that's
so
a
bad.
whole different level of acting, flexing. Like this.
Oh
is
my
like
god, 'cause
out
it's
to-
live. It's live
Yeah.
acting in front of all these people. So that was another thing. So I don't know if you guys saw that when the blackout happened, it affected the theater district. All the theaters were in the middle of a show when the power went out. So everyone had to evacuate the theaters, and the actors came into the streets and started singing and acting in the streets.
That's crazy.
And all the crowds, you had like crowds from all the theaters, and all these actors were out there singing. There's some videos of it. I'm sure these guys could probably find some of it. But
Chappelle's doing a show on Broadway, and his show got obviously postponed or canceled or whatever, and he
What
ended
day
up down
was
at the
that?
cellar
this
Saturday
was
night.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
I think the power went out around 6 or 7 and didn't come back until maybe like 9 or 10, I want to say.
So people were stuck in elevators for like 4 hours?
Yes.
Yeah, someone.
No.
Yeah, a couple comics were like stuck on the train in Brooklyn for like an hour.
So
and a half.
2 hours.
I would have lost my shit.
All the all right. So guys, if we could play, we do have video of people in the subways with no power, and it's creepy as
Oh.
shit.
Didn't people?
Hell yeah.
Some people have to walk on the tracks.
Some people had to walk the tracks. Yeah, I know. I'm getting the chills thinking about it. Did you ever see the movie Cloverfield? When like people are in the subways and it's just kind of like you could feel that apocalypse feeling.
That should make my dick hard, yo, because that's
Do we
like
have
yo,
any
it's
of the
call to
videos? I
action.
think
You know
I
what I'm
sent
saying?
some
Now I
links.
get to show all these motherfuckers that sleep on me on the train. Who's that dude? You know what I'm saying? Yo, follow me,
Who's
everybody.
that dude?
But
Petey, Petey,
Come on,
Petey,
yo.
Petey.
You know what I'm saying? Shabai, follow me, everybody.
But I freak out when the train stops for 5 minutes.
Dude, I
And-
keep a Xanax in the fifth pocket of
Right?
every single pair of pants I have. I have like an emergency Xanax. I just like to know it's there.
So you were telling,
But, like,
that's half the battle right there. Is
just
the
knowing
mental
it's there.
side
I've
of
never
it.
taken
Yeah.
it. It's like become a part of my
It's
genes.
knowing
at this
that it's
point.
there.
Just knowing it's there.
I've
But
gone through that same shit.
if I'm stuck on the train, I go, all right,
glass.
who am I going to kill first?
Break glass in case of an emergency.
Yep. Who am I going to kill first? And then it's like if it comes down to me like having to like fuck to keep the planet alive, like I just start like looking around and being like,
Fuck
all right,
the
like,
homeless lady, son.
oh, well. Look for that lineage, you know? Dude, people were walking under the subway.
I want to see that.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. Well, we
You ever see that shit for like people living in like the subway stations that are not being used? Like the mole,
Oh, yeah,
the mole
yeah,
people.
The
that,
mole
like,
people,
Yeah,
yeah.
that shit's
I remember
awesome.
Jerry Springer had like a 4-part special on them back.
What?
live
Like
from the
2 parts.
Bobby, do we have any of the footage of the?
Jizz here. You sent me the power coming back on.
All right, we actually have that. All right, so this is when the power came back on. Someone actually was recording at the exact time, and it actually was. It's kind of a funny video.
This is
Make
on
sure
the
this.
train.
Make sure
Oh,
the
no, this is
sound's on.
outside.
This is outside. You're gonna need the sound for this one though.
What if it's just like
But check this out. Another 2 or 3 blocks north, you would essentially.
We're having our own power issues here.
it'd be crazy if like the power came back on and like just like 10 dudes are just jerking off.
And they're like,
I wasn't done.
like, oh shit, oh, shit.
You know that was happening somewhere.
Yeah, we lit. We lit, boy.
Bro, because you know everyone's outside their apartment because their AC's off.
That's the
so
thing. It
it's
never
like
happens.
100 degrees.
Never
in their
happens in
apartment.
November. It always happens on like the hottest
Always.
weekend.
That's what
Always.
makes it happen. And then this weekend's gonna be another blackout. You didn't
Why?
hear it from me. It's gonna be like 100.
Well, because
Is that-
everyone's gonna be running their ACs at the same
Is
time.
that why it happens?
So they said Con Ed like something like some kind of cable failed, but there's a bunch of backup switches that are as soon as that one cable fails, they're supposed to switch off so that way it saves the power around. Those never switched off, so that it just kept spreading all the way through the Upper West Side through Hell's Kitchen.
Damn, it's like herpes.
It was like bad case of herpes.
Except it went away. It went away.
And it's gonna according to Petey,
it's coming back in 6
it's gonna
to 8
flare
weeks.
back up next weekend when it's 100 degrees.
Fucking degrees. It's always when it's hot. It's
I know. It's
One in-
never when it's cold.
1 in 4 people are gonna lose their power.
Forever.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember the one that hit New York and like went all the way to Ohio?
Yeah.
Like it was. I remember that one was out for like a day or two.
Yeah,
Well, then what do they do with people in the elevators then? They have to rescue all of them
They
individually?
have to, I guess. I mean,
Unless you in an
everybody.
elevator with me, you know what I'm saying?
What if you
'Cause
get
I'll
forgotten
solo.
about in an elevator?
Then your bones, you're dead. You're done.
And then
Really?
Your
No, you
phone
probably gotta like
dies.
break out of the top, like Mel Gibson type
There's
shit.
ways.
There's ways.
Come on, man.
I don't know. You run out of oxygen probably at some point too. You know, that scares me about this city.
Yeah. Well, what was that devil movie? They're all in the
Oh,
elevator.
yeah,
and
and then one of them's a devil?
Yeah.
that was a good
That's
movie.
that's a
Gotta be
worst case
prepared,
scenario,
man.
but
You gotta be prepared for this shit.
You ever get in an elevator and you're like, not these people?
Would you rather?
You're
would you
like,
rather be stuck in an elevator with Jesus or the devil?
Oh, God.
Both, because I'll be like, yo, fight, fight.
World star.
no, valid question though, because I feel like Jesus could be just as bad. I don't want to hear.
Jesus be so annoying.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to hear.
He'd be like, yo, look at these sandals, yo.
Yeah, the devil would have some pretty great pictures in his phone and shit to show us.
Jesus would be
Check
like,
this
let's
out.
talk about what you did.
Yeah,
You're like,
really.
no.
You did this.
Let's look through your old texts.
But
your
you know,
fault.
the blackouts always like bring out like the most random people, because then when the one happened on Saturday, there was like the random people who just jumped into intersections and started directing traffic. It's like, who the fuck told you to do that? No one.
Yeah.
I'm not standing in an intersection, a New York City intersection. You got cars just going in every fucking direction. It's like, why? What's in it for you?
That's for the people, man.
That's for the people.
Like I'm saying,
gonna
some
keep
people
it
just
going?
wait for that call to action, man. We've been waiting our whole life to direct traffic,
It was
man.
Petey doing it.
There was
No.
These are all white guys. These are white guys who've been waiting
Yeah,
for this
you know that's a
moment.
white guy.
Yeah, it's a bunch of NYU grad students down in
You
East
ever
Village.
seen hood dudes cross the street? I remember crossing back in the day. My dude was like about to get hit by a car. He's like, yo, pedestrians got the right of way, yo. And he'd be like, yo, I just fuck it, yo. I'm gonna get paid. I'm like, damn, but you died.
You could
No, you could
dude.
die and not get
People
paid.
have been dropping left and right.
I
in this
drive
city
in this.
lately.
I drive in this city, and I hate so much leaving like West Village at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
and a bar lets out.
Oh
and
yeah,
there's like
that's bad too. The
like
village
fucking
is terrible.
Alex and Steve or whoever, like some
Yeah,
NYU
Chad,
piece-
Brad, and
yeah,
Kyle.
walking
Chad,
across
Brad,
the
and
street,
Kyle.
like walking across the street, like hit me, dude.
Yeah.
Hit me. And I was like, I fucking so wish I could.
Yeah.
God, I want to hit you
Even
so
like
bad.
think about that, like the
That
bike,
pedestrian.
like
Yeah, the
imagine
people on
you're
the city
driving,
bikes.
No, but you're driving in your fucking car. You're like, all right, my car's here. It's on the road, and a bike is in like the same lane, and it's like, yo, fuck you, dude. Like, why are you? You're not a car,
Yeah, and if you beep, you're a dick.
right? Where it's like, dude, I'm supposed to fucking drive 2 miles per hour
Yeah.
behind you.
Right,
for
and we're talking
2
about New
blocks?
York where there's even horses with carriages,
Dude,
and that shit's
that's
fucked
different.
too.
That's different.
There's
Give the
9 out of
horses
10
chill, son.
Nah, man, that's fucked up.
Horses are celestial animals, man.
I'm saying if you're in a car and there's a horse, I am nervous as fuck. That
But yo, we wouldn't have had the car without the horse, though.
See, you hit that pen one more time. You're getting deep on me right here.
Horsepower, baby.
Shit.
Who you think it came from?
But yeah, with your anxiety, Mike,
fucking-
your anxiety, I can only imagine what it's like driving in the city with multiple things going on, bikes, people, because the bikers
Am I
are
the only
crazy,
one?
man.
Do you don't drive, huh?
No.
You, Petey.
Damn, Petey.
You Petey rides horses.
Yeah, I'm out here with the train, man.
I
Ubering daily.
Rick, you should hit the pen.
I fucking hate it,
You want me to
dude.
hit the pen?
Yeah,
See what
Rick doesn't
happens?
smoke
Hit it light
weed.
though. Hit it light though. That shit
Yeah,
got
hit
that
it
kick.
hard,
Nah,
Rick.
chill. You good.
We'll see what happens.
That shit automatically.
Rest of the show might get interesting.
Yeah, driving in the city sucks because every other car is like Uber, Lyft, Juno, whatever. If there's a C on the license plate, they're a cab of some sort. And they just stop. There's no more like pulling over or putting.
no.
They just fucking stop. If their app tells them to stop, middle lane,
Yep.
fuck, they just stop.
And nobody gets in on the driver's side. We got to walk.
You gotta go around.
Wait, what are we talking about?
It's the worst driving in this fucking city. I swear to God, I'm gonna have an aneurysm
You're behind
tonight.
the car because I'm that guy. I feel like shit now because I'm like,
Chilling.
you're behind the car, like you just stopped And like I'm like right next to the behind the driver's side, and I'm like, nah,
You gotta go around. I don't want to sit behind the driver. That's fucking weird.
But even I could get in and
You can
scooch
scooch over, but you don't.
I'm just like, yo, I paid for this, man.
Yep.
I waited my whole life for this, man.
You're ripping down 2nd Avenue in the fast lane, but it's not a fast lane. In every lane, it's just a stopping lane. It's brutal, and they'll go from like the left all the way, like just cut 4 lanes off, and then all the fucking hipsters on bikes. And all it sucks, dude.
Yeah,
it's
there's
brutal.
there's a lot, and they're trying to cut down on drivers in the city in the first place, just because so much shit's going on. Not to say that it's drivers' fault, but there's a lot of people getting crushed by cars.
A lot of them,
and it's their fault. But at the same time, that doesn't change the fact that all these people are dying. But
I want to put a GoPro on the roof of my car, like bikers do on their helmets.
You ever seen Russia? They put GoPros in their dashboard because everyone purposely jumps in front of cars for insurance reasons.
Yeah. You ever get in an Uber and there's like 10 cameras in the Uber?
God.
And you're like, what the fuck did you do?
Yeah.
Who did you hurt before this ride?
Yeah, it's like
I'm gonna get raped.
Yeah, really.
It's like taxi cab confessions. It's honestly you think you're on like cash
beat
cab.
off to that, man, back in the taxi cab confessions.
Is there anything you haven't beat off to on television? Because you just said last week, what was it, Jerry Springer that you beat off to?
Oh yeah, when they used to have those special episodes. Titty
Which
about to
ones?
pop out. Oh.
That's special
Some
episode.
bitches fighting and some shit, like some young shorties or something, like bugging out, like little sluts.
Would you keep them?
I feel like he's getting hard right now.
Little slut.
Sluts.
Little Jerry
The little
Springer
slut special.
You know those little Jerry Springer sluts.
And you like,
Oh my
shit.
God.
Good
The
old
baby.
days. I ain't have cable. I had to wait for Jerry, man.
Did you listen to it or did you mute it?
Nah, I gotta listen to that. I gotta hit him.
Jerry.
He only
You're at
comes-
home like Jerry. He only comes when they yell Jerry.
Yeah.
Motivation, yo. They
When
motivate.
Steve the security guy kicks someone out, that's when you come.
Steve got his own spin-off.
He did. I think that
Was
might
it
even still
Wilco?
be on.
Steve Wilkos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Wilco show.
My man's
and he
in on-
doesn't fuck around.
Nah, he never did.
Does he help anybody or is
He
that
like
shit?
he like finds husbands that are beating his wives and then like betas them.
Really?
He's like, I'll beat you up, and does
and
that.
the crowd goes, Jerry.
Yeah, yeah. He
Wait,
can't
he
escape
betas
it.
them or he alphas them?
He alphas them.
He makes
He
them
makes
beta.
them.
He
beta.
makes them the beta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he
I
betas
somehow that
them.
makes it-
Okay,
yeah.
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I'm a better writer than talker.
Well,
That was 100% bullshit, totally, right? Jerry Springer, start to finish.
we just talked about that last week. I think it started true, authentic.
and then they were like, let's just
And
go
then
for
in-
the fucking trash of the world.
Yo,
Yeah.
wasn't he the mayor of Cincinnati?
Yes.
He was at one point.
Fire. That's flavor. I would do that shit.
Was it Cincinnati?
Yeah.
It
Yeah, it was Cincinnati.
Okay.
Do you want to
come
see what
on.
I got?
The fuck is that, yo? You recording this?
What is it? Is that a taser?
Taser.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Wait,
shit look
wait,
mad
make
cute.
it make the noise. Oh, shit. Yo, Mike just shook the whole table.
That shit'll fuck your whole shit up right there.
Why do you have that?
In case shit,
Because you live in New York?
Night moving.
in case
Come
motherfuckers
on,
want
Petey, rap to it.
Would you really use that?
Out here tasing. We just not being phasing. Yo, you might get tased. Oh, you trying to grab my pussy?
That shit was. Oh, it smells like fire.
Oh, would you use that? Would you, if someone came up to you, would you really use that?
Yeah.
Because by the time you took it out of your
Out of the
case,
pouch, you're getting hit over
Yeah.
the head. They're like, yeah,
No.
got it, go.
Hang on a minute.
Yo,
Sorry,
hang
what'd
on
you
a
say?
minute. I gotta
You
get
wanna
this
do
out of
what
my
to
pocket.
asshole? Hang on.
and I got to get it out of the case too.
Hang on, I'm like digging in my backpack for it. It's under all my shit.
You got any gum before you rape me?
Yeah. I'm like sanitizer, no. My journal, no. My laptop, no. My charger, no. My vape pen. There it is.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you came? Oh, fuck. All right.
This is over already?
You're the guy who keeps the gun in his house, but the bullet's like in the basement and the
I got a
gun
don't-
up in the attic.
I don't care what anyone says. That taser beat was fucking
It was
fire.
sick. That was
Nah,
dope.
somebody's gonna use that soon. You'll hear.
Do you think you have like an itchy taser finger? Like you think you might use it like without like
No,
improperly?
No. I never have it out. You can catch me wherever.
Hopefully you don't spill water on it.
Oh
shit.
fuck.
All right. Well, we do have a little bit of Subway content here. Australia. We had a naked slip and slide in Australia.
Nice.
I mean, I guess the Australian subway is nothing really compared to
Ew, on
the
the
New
subway?
York one. But either way, guys, you have this video? Play
He's
this.
already smiling.
Is that Steve Irwin, the crocodile? He's not dead.
It looks like him.
Oh, that's
think
it.
about your
Fucking-
dick.
That's AIDS right there.
This guy just ran and slid stomach first.
Ew. You have to get a disease. from
Think
that.
about what happened to his
Dundee
dick right here.
there. That's Dick Baby.
He got some good distance.
One, you know,
He did, right?
Yeah,
He got
slips-
yo.
Well, one, you know that like
even
he
curling.
got an open wound from that for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like that cut the skin and then it slid across. The
I'm just
rest
thinking
of
about
the
the.
subway.
I mean, it looked like they had something down on the floor, but,
yo, you know
still
they
the
got-
friction
yo,
there.
Forget
you know
about it.
Australia probably got some nice ass floors and it's a hand sanitizer.
I mean, maybe so, but
New York City, baby. Come on, do that in New York, yo. Whoever you are, if you're watching this, do it in New York. Prove it. Prove that you're crazy.
He would have went fucking feet over head, just stuck. Sound like a fucking skateboard sneaker.
oh man, I'm just getting that that feeling when like it hurt that guy, and you're feeling it for him. That looked like it hurt.
But he looked like he needed love, yo. And he got it. He got the
Yeah,
love. And they
he
was
got
high fiving him,
Yeah.
slapping his dick. You know. Yo, your dick is crazy.
It's also a weird week in the news for animals, where I believe this is Tennessee. They had to give out a warning about meth gators. I don't know if they tweeted this or how they put the warning out, but drug dealers are flushing meth down the toilet, and they are worried that the marine life is going to get into it, and we're going to have meth gators.
That's fucking
This
terrifying.
is the fact that was even news, and that they had to come out with a warning for that. I think Tennessee,
Imagine
Alabama.
living in Tennessee and a gator just comes in and steals your microwave.
Yo, that's the fucking best cartoon ever.
Imagine the cops kick the door down and you about to flush the drugs and you like, but wait, what about the turtles? Nah, let's just go to jail, my nigga. Fucking son.
Well, that's what happened. I guess the cops
Same
made a
planet.
bust, and a guy tried to flush as much of the meth down the toilet at once, and they were like, well, if this is happening, we need to give a warning because this shit's going right out. The other thing is, why are their toilets just emptying out into wherever there's marine
Didn't they
life,
say
you know?
something about how in like I think it was like in the Pacific Ocean there was like lithium and like all types of like antidepressants in the fish.
Really?
Yeah, they were like
mad chill
fish, dude. Yeah, they had like Soundgarden t-shirts on and shit. They were hacky sacking.
Super chill.
man.
No, for real. Like
They played ukulele.
Right, totally.
Had
There's like
dreads.
all types of fucking shit in the
God
water.
damn.
I think you're not supposed to. I think like if you like dispose of like pharmaceutical drugs, you give it to like a pharmacist, and they make like a slurry out of it. They like make like a dry.
Yeah,
like,
but then what?
Huh?
Then what,
Then
though?
it just like goes into the air.
Fucking nose beers, dude.
They probably resell it honestly in some weird black market.
Yeah, they probably send it to Canada as like
They
cholesterol
100%
medicine.
don't let it go to waste. All that money.
Yeah, and I don't think pills expire like they say they do.
No.
Yeah, where does it
They
go?
get stronger.
Where does what's in? Oh,
They get
it's
stronger.
like a fine
Really?
wine.
don't
Just
know.
with age, it just gets
Yeah,
nicer.
yeah. I got a 1981 Xanax in my pocket. I'm saving for a fucking real panic attack. The next blackout, I'm fucking
right to sleep.
It's gonna be like a chalice, like the Holy Grail.
Oh my god. But yeah, that's it. How do they get old? Like, where does the contents go that it expires? That doesn't make a lot
I
of
don't
sense
believe
to
it.
me.
Damn, we getting deep. See, you hit the pen.
I
now,
hit the
you
pen.
getting
Look at what
deep.
you guys did to me.
Fuck.
Rick
It's
is
good
like,
though. It's good.
Nice
shit, though.
conversation.
Rick
man.
is like, yo, but where does it go?
All right. So now
Is
that
the sky fucking fucked up? No, no.
all right, so I got a video for you. Now that we're all fucked up, check out this video of what happened in Florida. This is Port St. Lucie.
Whoa.
Check
oh,
this
those
shit
are
out.
crabs. Okay, I've been
Whoa. Oh.
Crabs.
Yeah.
I guess they had some extreme flooding.
Yep.
And the crabs just started coming out of the ground.
I grew up around that.
So this was normal for you?
Yeah.
You saw this
This
shit.
was like after hurricanes
So-
and stuff.
Do you eat those?
Jesus Christ.
So
They'd be
to
like all in the streets.
Would
You'd
you
be
eat
running
those,
over
Kim?
them, and they crunch under your tires.
Kim, would you eat those?
No.
Why not?
But where are they
'Cause
coming from?
The meth crabs.
They're just underground?
They're coming from the ocean. The ocean.
Imagine you eat a meth crab and then you're like,
now you
I
freaked
feel,
out.
I want to fight God right now.
That's a good point.
And
This
you
is
need more
marine
of the
life.
crabs.
yes.
Like, you know what I want for dessert? I want to fist fight Jesus.
And guess what? It's Florida too, so you know that
You
those-
could, Jesus.
you
Oh my
know-
God! You eat a meth crab and then you pick your face with its claws.
That's crazy.
You just sit
That's
on the
such
claw.
you've seen that. You've definitely seen that. In
Fucking
Florida.
world is over, dude. Meth crabs. Fucking.
So yeah, just to sum up what that video was, because some people are listening, they may not have any idea what we were just watching. These crabs, I guess, came out of the ground due to flooding, and they crawled all over. What do they call those in Florida? Sunscreens? What are those?
Trailers. Is that the houses? Oh,
I mean, I don't. That house looked nice. That kind of looked like it. You know those like screened-in porch areas?
Yeah. That's
These crabs
popular.
were climbing all over
That's
that
popular
shit.
in Florida.
I've never seen that.
that's a
before.
Florida elementary school.
That shit is. If you have one of those, you chilling. You got a little pool.
Kim,
Little
you said
kiddie
you saw.
pool.
You said you saw this all the time in Florida.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not all the time, but that was like after like a big storm or a hurricane. Yeah.
That's crazy
Yo,
shit.
you know why I love New York? Because there don't be no earthquakes. There's no hurricanes. You might get shot, but it's cool, though. It's like
No hurricanes.
I don't want a natural disaster. I want an unnatural disaster. Like I want
Godzilla?
somebody to unnaturally fucking kill me. I don't want it to be natural disaster. My shit fucked up because that's not natural. I want an unnatural.
What's an unnatural disaster? That's such
Yo,
a fucking
somebody
awesome name for
fucking-
whatever.
God, how stoned are we?
He's talking about himself. How stoned are we?
I mean, all of us are, right? Not just me.
We're all fucking lit. I feel like I peed myself.
Hell yeah, yo.
What? Good question though. Answer it.
What?
Unnatural. What is unnatural?
That's like, yo, if you get like something happen, you fucking sink off the roof. That's an unnatural disaster.
Sink off the
Somebody
roof.
throw
Like somebody
sink
drops a
off the
sink.
roof.
Oh, like an air conditioner falls out of a
Yeah.
window.
Oh.
Finally.
Or
How
like
does that
that
not
little-
How
happen?
does that
all
not
the
happen?
time?
It
Exactly.
does, I thought.
I know drips of water from it come down, and you automatically think you have eye aids.
Oh God! I thought I got spit on my first week in New York. I'm like, 2 people spit at me.
That was
from
just
their
the city
windows.
spitting at you.
Yeah.
And you were
That's
somehow-
called the Manhattan hello.
Yeah, and you were somehow happy to realize that it was just air conditioner drip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't trust it, dude, because I know I put in my own air conditioner, and I don't trust me.
Well, we talked about that one
And
episode.
I put all
and
my
that scared-
old pills in my air conditioner.
They're weighing them down.
I ran out of screws. Just put old pill bags.
That's a good one. All right, that is a good one because that I feel like should happen. all the
Falling
time.
into those basement things, you know,
the cellar doors. What do
does
you?
that happen often? They just break
Well, I
and
feel
I
fall through
imagine
because a
some
lot
of
of them
them.
are bent.
and
Yeah.
especially with everyone being on their phones nowadays, no one paying attention.
Those are fun videos to watch.
Those are.
People running into like a glass door on
Yeah.
their phone. I fucking love that.
Well, did you see that the one woman did fall down those, and she was on her phone and she wasn't paying attention. She fell down. She sued like the deli and won.
Nice.
I mean,
money.
I'm gonna marry her.
Boar's head.
Did you ever? There's a video online. It's really crazy, and it's this guy
Black Forest
walking,
AM.
and a glass pane comes out of a building and misses him by like an inch. And they have
see,
it on video.
videos. Wait, there is video of this.
Yeah.
See, this is we need to find
Yeah, like
that video now.
like escaping death or whatever. That's a good follow on Twitter. I think there's one that's like barely made it or some shit like that. and it's
Escaping
like,
death videos are good.
See, I gotta
like
look this
those.
up now because this
That's
is
what
the
I
type
jerk off
stuff.
to, Petey. Yeah, like the back of a fucking Mazda getting run over by an 18-wheeler.
But they made it.
Oh, yeah,
wait.
this is it. This is it. This is
Oh shit!
it. Hold on. It's
Wait.
usually faster.
Oh, whoa!
It was a big.
God, it took his thing right off his head.
If that's not telling you to convert religions, I don't know what is.
That was hilarious. Yeah, that shit disappeared.
Oh,
I mean, how close?
yeah, that's crazy.
That's like inches from like total decapitation.
Wow.
Yo, where did it go?
Yeah, where does it go? It just turned to dust.
Where did it go?
Why is that
Maybe
fake?
that's what made it like not kill him.
No, I think it's behind him.
Or did
Damn,
it
that
go
dude was
into the
walking
street?
like he had nowhere to be.
He
either.
really, that's the slowest walker.
That is the slow. That's why I'm like, is this real? Because look at that walk. Like that's. He is walking
Yo, he
real
got on
slow.
sandals. How fast is he supposed to walk?
He's like,
He got on the Passion of Christ Nikes. His shit is crazy.
You know what? He probably normally walks really fast, and that day he was like, you know what? I need to slow down and appreciate life.
enjoy the safe sky.
That's when you go buy a lottery.
What kind of
ticket.
shit town was he living in too? Did you see that?
Nah, but then you
Nah,
see
that's-
the buildings
that
in
looks
the
like
background.
somewhere in the
look like
Middle East
Dubai
or some shit.
Looked like Astoria.
Does kind of. Well, remember we talked about this the subway dropping shit lately, right over in Queens. It's just like there are fucking railroad ties falling off. We played a video a little while back. There's a car driving under the the ones that are elevated.
Yep. I live right underneath one of those.
Railroad tie just comes right through the front windshield of the car like a fucking spear.
Yeah, it's like Final Destination.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
It really
I
is.
told you I used to throw the light bulbs off the train.
Did you?
When I was a kid.
I wonder how many people you killed and you have no idea.
I don't know. I did some crazy shit.
We used to put mattresses on the train tracks. I grew up in like a farm town kind of, and the only fun we had was the train tracks and the garbage we could put on it.
I'm kind of intrigued by this though.
We would put
what did those mattresses look after a train runs it over?
Like that window that disappeared. It just turned to like
gets
dust
shredded?
and springs and terrible. It was really bad.
Because you know that myth.
Imagine being the fucking train driver and you're like, these fucking kids, man. All the
It
time.
also could derail it, I feel like.
Probably.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, I imagine, but it wasn't like it wasn't maybe it was passenger trains. I don't think it was. I thought it was like them carrying shit to stores.
Killed, Mike?
You know what's a good question? Like, I wonder if
we just out ourselves as train track murderers.
I wonder how many people like we've all indirectly killed. Like if we like have made a left somewhere and let someone pass us that died because they
wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or like some shit like that. Like cut someone off and they were just 2 seconds behind and they got hit.
That's true.
Damn.
And it could have been us.
And it could have been us. I wonder. I wish there was an app where you could see.
But thank God we made it. Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them.
They could have taken a right.
Look at us.
Should have had
We
a better.
made it.
Should have had a better relationship with the universe, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's jump into the clip of the week real quick.
Whoa.
There's usually music to this. All right. This clip is basically, I feel like, sums up the New York City subway very well. If there was someone who's like, what's the New York City subway like? You just show them this video. Guys, if we could play that real quick.
It's a Marisa?
That's it.
It's Giannis Pappas.
That's it.
That's it.
We are all that woman at some point on the train.
Nah, not
That's
me.
amazing.
I gotta keep my eyes open. You know what I'm saying?
Me too.
What trains are you riding?
I'm just saying, you
agree.
gonna close your eyes in the mix of the madness?
You don't close your eyes on the train. Are
I'm
you
wide
insane?
awake, yo. I'm wide awake, son.
Do you ever fall asleep? You ever fall asleep like mid-ride, like sitting down, and then you wake up like?
I used to sleep on the
I like wake up and like my first thing's like, who do I have to kill? Like who fucked with me?
I would never close my eyes on the train. I don't think.
You never fell asleep on a train?
I mean, like I would never fall asleep. No.
I used to always sleep on the train.
That.
I fall asleep on the train.
I'm scared that people are like doing weird things to me. Like
Yeah, just like grandfather
like I
clocking
say,
you with
you
their
know,
dick.
yeah.
I try to teach y'all just gotta look mean when you sleep. So people like, yo, if they dreaming about some gangster shit, what would they do to me? What would they do to me? What they do with the niggas when they sleep?
You're just crying in your sleep. This guy, who hurt him?
Yeah. Oh, it's funny too because we're talking about the woman who had the thing over her face. We didn't even mention the person dressed in Star Trek who's laughing at absolutely nothing. I mean, that really encapsulates.
That's.
It's fucking awesome. It's like a dress kind
That's
of
a man,
guy.
right?
I don't know.
That's a woman, man. What's wrong with you, yo? She identifies, man.
If you had to put money on that,
Yo, I'm trying to tell
identifies
you, it's not about
as
the
fuck.
money. It's about.
oh, you're gonna play that card.
Identify. It's not the card, man. It's 2019, baby.
What do you identify as?
Just a real motherfucker from these streets.
Yes.
You had to put that on my tombstone.
Just a mattress on the train tracks.
Yeah.
That's your pronoun.
Just the mattress on the fucking train
tracks
you
of
know what
life,
I'm saying?
dude.
I'm trying to fuck shit up, but I ain't trying to kill the whole,
Just trying to get rid of mattresses.
Yeah. Whatever, you know.
Oh shit.
Are people still pushing people on tracks? I know you probably talk
dude.
about that all the time.
Well, I was gonna say we were talking about you mentioned passing out, and we showed a video a couple weeks ago of a dude passed out on the train. Some other guy walked over, took a pair of scissors, cut his pocket open, and took his phone and wallet right out while he was just sitting there sleeping.
Taught him a lesson.
Really?
So
Cut it
to your
open.
point where you were saying they cut his pocket off and took the shit right
No,
out.
yeah, that's crazy. I've fallen asleep a couple times. I'm wondering, like, I always think about if someone gonna come behind me and try to push me in front of the train.
I always think that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Don't stand on the edge. You're just giving a reason. Or
We had a
Like
video
if I had
of
your
a
taser,
dude.
I would be like anyone that came near me. I'd be like,
yeah. So imagine how freaky it gets sometimes in Brooklyn when these trains don't show up and the platforms just get crowded, like so crowded that you can't move, and now you're on the edge, and you notice that the platform's progressively just getting more packed and packed. Like, that's my absolute fucking nightmare. It's just...
The city fucking blows.
Yeah.
Nah, this shit is great, man.
I love it.
It's
I love it. I love it. I'll never leave.
It's like, remember that show, The Gladiator?
It's a love-hate
Remember The Gladiator?
American Gladiator?
Yeah, American Gladiator.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Grew up on that shit.
Remember the tennis ball gun?
That was my
That's
what this shit is, but like with more filth.
With rats.
You know what I'm saying? Rats.
Rats and AIDS.
Rabies, AIDS bees, all of that shit.
AIDS bees,
and rabies.
Hers
Yeah.
bees.
AIDS bees.
Yeah,
Those
well,
are
you remember when
anal
like
beads that
even the
somebody with
mosquitoes
AIDS
coming in with their West Nile, you know, there was
Zika.
there's
When
always
they try to
something.
hit us with the
Hit
Zika,
him
but
with
guess what? We still here. You know who died?
The
people
weak.
that did it
The
right.
fucking weak. The mattresses.
It wasn't supposed to be here, yo.
That's right.
So when the birds start falling out the sky and the prophecies are fulfilled, we still here.
Choo-choo. Zika train came rolling in.
We still here, baby.
We made it.
Smoked honey, blue chew.
Oh, shit.
Then I'm gonna be a fiend. Where's the blue chew? The prophecy is being fulfilled. And my dick won't work.
Oh my god.
I need help.
Oh man. This is like at the beginning of this episode, we just need a title card that says the crew got lit.
There you go, bud.
That just sums up this episode. Well, that's our show. Mike.
Wow, that was quick.
That was quick.
It was quick.
That was awesome.
Thanks
though.
for having me. This was fun.
We do a part at the end of the show called Shameless Plugging. As our guest, I want you to start off. Where can we find you? What do you have coming up?
All right. MikeFinoia.com. MikeFinoia.com. End of July, I'll be at Comedy Cellar Vegas. I've got a podcast, Amigos, at Amigos Pod on social media. Got a project coming out on Spotify called Chasing Moments that'll be out at the end of August, beginning of September. And I think that's it. And then Inside Jokes on Tru TV.
Inside Jokes.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get to see another season of that.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Thanks, dude. Thanks for having me.
No, absolutely. Thank you for coming. Kimmy, what do you got coming up?
You guys follow me on Twitter at Kimberly Congdon, on Instagram at Kim Congdon. Check out my other podcast, Broad Topics. That's TOPIX on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, Stitcher, anywhere you find podcasts. Also check out Stone Science, where I get professional comedians high and we do a science fair project.
What?
Yeah, youtube.com/Stone Science.
Can I do that?
Of course.
All right.
Yes. And I say this sometimes. If you're listening to this podcast right now and you haven't yet, please give us a rating, a review, share it with a friend. Yeah.
That's all we ask.
That's it.
Subscribe. Come on, just subscribe.
That's all we ask. It's not a
Leave
big
a
ask.
comment.
Subscribe.
Thumbs it up.
PDD, what do you got going on?
Yo, man, I'm super local. Every Tuesday, Hobbs Comedy, Queens Brewery, 945, free as fuck. It's hot as shit. The AC ain't working, but yo, it don't matter. We get sweaty. You know what I'm saying? We get sweaty and we tell jokes that usually don't land, but it's a good place to fuck around. And if you want to see that, stop by. And then next Thursday, you can find me in Chicago at the Chase Auditorium for Wait, Don't Tell Me. Me and my man Peter Sagal. You know what I'm saying? We go
No
way
shit.
back. Yeah, we go way back. Me and Peter Sagal or whatever.
That's fucking cool, man.
So you can find me there.
Damn.
Follow me on Instagram, PD's Jokes.
Very nice. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast. iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere you listen to your podcasts. Check out the Instagram page, Subway Creatures Pod. We'll put up highlights from the show on there, as well as bonus content that you're not going to find in the main account. Make sure you sign up. GasDigitalNetwork.com using promo code Subway. You're going to get a 14-day free trial. You also get all the shows in HD, all the other podcasts on the network. I really recommend it. You can also check out our Not Safe for Work bonus content. That's just for our premium subscribers. And Mike, I hope you can stick around. We're gonna watch a little bit of that right after this, if you can.
Sure.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Trust me, you're gonna like this.
All right.
But also, thank you for coming by.
Thank you.
This has been a really fun episode.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, man. Thanks, guys. Love you, Pete.
Until
Love you,
next
bro. We
week,
gotta go
guys.
fish. We gotta
Fish,
do
man.
fish.
Yeah,
We'll see
I
you
just
then.